Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to continue studying the powerful force of the wind. Today we're going to consider the question, what happens when the wind is too strong? And look at the weather event, hurricanes. You've had a chance to do some research on hurricanes during your past few lessons and gathered some information from a couple of sources. Well, today we're going to look at more sources and put that information together so then you can then teach someone else about hurricanes. I want you to think about this. Why is research with multiple sources important? Your teacher asked you that question last week to get your brain thinking about what multiple sources are and why you would need to use multiple sources. Think of those words. Multiple means more than one, and sources are places we can find information. So when you think of multiple sources, that means using several different places to find information. I put a little Venn diagram in here to get your mind thinking about the words different and alike. We use multiple sources because you can find different information in them. You will find information that's alike, but you will also find information that is different. Information in different sources can be different because the author might find different things interesting or important. We want to make sure we can identify some information that's the same and information that's different. And then, like I said, we can find this information so you can share it with your readers and teach them some new information. So today, we are going to use our multiple sources to answer this research question. What does the wind do during a hurricane? So whenever we do our research, we want to make sure we're answering that question. As we go into our sources today, we're going to be on the lookout for information about what the wind does during a hurricane. The two sources that we're going to be using today is a website called DK Find Out. Hopefully you spent some time on that website the other day, so you already have some background knowledge from there. Our second source we're going to use is a text that we found on Epic. It is called What is a Hurricane by Robin Johnson. I put a graphic organizer on this page. It's always important to have a way to organize your information. This way we can access our information if we need it to answer a question, do a writing activity, or share the information with someone else. As you can see on here, I put two separate columns, DK Find Out and What is a Hurricane. In each of these columns, that's where I'm going to share the information I get from the sources. Think back to our question. What does wind do during a hurricane? I went over to the website dkfindout.com and I am on the page about hurricanes. Remember, what does the wind do during hurricanes? That's the information I'm looking for. I'm going to start by looking at this part of the website. I notice the title, Hurricanes, on this section. I'm going to skim through it, which means I'm going to read through it quickly because I'm looking for the word wind. I'm focusing on what the wind does. I see some information about hurricanes, what people call them, the ocean. Oh, look here. Hurricanes start as small storms and then build into spinning clouds of wind and rain. The winds of a hurricane can blow at up to 185 miles per hour. That's a great fact. I'm going to record that fact on my graphic organizer. I'm going to put that information in my graphic organizer. The winds of a hurricane can blow up to 185 miles per hour. MPH stands for miles per hour. That is a way that we measure speed. All right, I'm going to look at my other headings here. I have Hurricane Joaquin, and that's what this image is. And then I'm going to look down here at eye of the storm. That looks interesting to me. So I'm going to look at that label to see if I can find some more information about wind. It says at the center of every tropical storm is a small patch of calm called the eye. The strongest and deadliest winds of all spin around the eye of a storm. I like that fact. I'm going to use that as my second fact about a hurricane. I headed back over to my graphic organizer, and I'm going to write that fact I just learned about the wind on the DK Find Out side of my organizer. The strongest and deadliest winds of all spin around the eye of a hurricane. I found two facts from this source. Both of these facts are information about what wind does during a hurricane. Now, since we're using multiple, which means more than one sources, I'm going to head to a second source. Like I said, we're using a book from Epic. To make it a little easier, I went ahead and chose a couple pages from this text. Here are a few pages from the book, What is a Hurricane? This book came from Epic, and I chose a few pages that showed some information about wind. So I'm going to head back to my graphic organizer, and my friend Ms. Zivic is going to share information that she learned from these two pages.
Hi everyone. The two facts that we picked out from the book What is a Hurricane are, as the warm air rises, cooler air rushes in underneath it, creating strong winds. And the second fact from the book is the wind can rip trees out of the ground.
Thank you, Ms. Zivic. Now, boys and girls, we have two facts from each of our sources about what does wind do during a hurricane. I'll read them back to you. From DK Find Out, we learned the winds of a hurricane can blow up to 185 miles per hour. The strongest and deadliest winds of all spin around the eye of a hurricane. From the text, What is a hurricane? We learned as the warm air rises, cooler air rushes in underneath it, creating strong winds. We also learned the wind can rip trees out of the ground.
Now that we have spent a little bit of time looking at different resources, we're going to take that important information that we just learned about the wind and put it into an informative paragraph to teach somebody else what you learned about what the wind does during a hurricane. We included this informative paragraph hamburger to remind you of the different parts of an informative paragraph. The first part that you will need to include is your topic statement, which we will include on the next slide. Also, you will need to choose two important facts or details from the T-chart. And last, you will be writing your conclusion sentence. Remember, for your conclusion sentence, it should sound similar to your topic sentence, but the words should either be arranged in a different way or you can use different words to substitute into your conclusion sentence.
The topic sentence is hurricanes or storms with the strongest winds. You're going to start with that as your topic sentence, and then I will put the graphic organizer page back up. You're going to choose two facts from there, write them into sentences, and then, as Ms. Zivic said, you're going to create a strong conclusion.